All right, welcome to Rob Schmitt tonight. It is February 2nd. It's Groundhog Day. Take a look.
6 more weeks of winter there will be.
That's Puxatawny today, and how appropriate we'd be talking about another impeachment of Donald Trump on a day like today, Groundhog Day. Democrats released their 80-page impeachment brief today, saying that on January 6th, in a, quote, grievous betrayal of his oath of office, President Trump incited a violent mob to attack the United States Capitol. Yes, that's what they said. All right, well, just a quick flashback to reality. That day, the president spoke at a rally designed to urge Republicans to stand up and not certify the election. Trump and others wanted an investigation into multiple allegations of fraud. They wouldn't get it. The president cited a number of election abnormalities that to this day remain astonishing, such as his own tremendous success in the bellwether counties while also not winning, and the simple fact that Joe Biden, a worn-out old man who barely campaigned, got more than 80 million votes. It's astonishing to this day. Those stats defy all logic. The president also, though, took aim at state officials who illegally changed election rules without consent from legislatures to give an edge to Democrats by allowing tainted or late ballots to be counted. It's a totally fair point, and an obvious example of election meddling that benefited Democrats. The Zuckerberg-funded ballot drop-off boxes are another legitimate example of giving Democrats an unfair advantage. And to be fair, the president also made some more egregious, unproven claims that have gotten his legal team into trouble. We all know what those were. But what Trump didn't do on January 6th was anything remotely close to inciting an insurrection. Here's the president in his own words from that day.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. So we're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania Avenue. We're going to try and give our Republicans, the weak ones, because the strong ones don't need any of our help. We're going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country. So let's walk down Pennsylvania Avenue.
That's it. We're not playing any tricks on you. That was it. That's what they're calling inciting an insurrection. Peacefully and patriotically make their voices heard. Make your voice heard. That's what this country's all about, the right to protest. You're allowed to do that. But from the Democrats' brief, you hear a much different version of what happened that day. Quote, the only honorable path at that point was for President Trump to accept the results and concede his electoral defeat. Instead, he summoned a mob to Washington, exhorted them into a frenzy, and aimed them like a loaded cannon down Pennsylvania Avenue. Again, peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard, was a quote that we heard from the president. Now, what happened that day was really bad. There's no excusing it. But that's not the point here. Democrats and the media don't really care what Trump said that day, and he's the one they're going to put on trial. They don't much care about the actual facts here. They don't seem to care that they're destined to lose this trial either. Last week, when Rand Paul forced that vote on the constitutionality of putting a former president, now a private citizen, on trial, only 5 Republican senators were even willing to say that the trial was legitimate. Only 5 out of 50. So in a trial, Democrats need 67 to convict. They're going to be lucky to get 55 as it stands. The case is so weak, Democrats have been trying to save it by saying that Trump's lies led to the insurrection. On CNN, after a little bit of pushback from the host, a former federal prosecutor actually made this astonishing claim.
He has a First Amendment right to speak, and therefore he said things at a rally and people attack the Capitol. You can't hold him accountable.
Yeah, those are wrong, and they're well countered by the very long brief the House filed earlier today. I mean, you don't have a First Amendment right to lie.
It's a former federal prosecutor. You don't have the First Amendment right to lie. You have a First Amendment right to free speech. She's dead wrong. I don't know how she was a prosecutor, but apparently she was. Apparently, you must get everything in your brain fact-checked before you open your mouth, or you're going to go to jail, is basically what she's saying. Imagine if that was true. Most of our media lied to the American public for more than 2 years. They allowed any Trump-hating nitwit politician or analyst to go on TV and tell their viewers that Trump and Vladimir Putin stole the 2016 election. They said it over and over and over again. They burned, they tattooed it into your brain. It was a talking point every single day for years. Remember, Adam Schiff had seen the evidence. He saw it. It was all a lie. But back to Groundhog Day. The first time Democrats impeached Trump, it was for pressuring the Ukrainian president to investigate Joe and Hunter Biden's Burisma dealings. And there was a lot to be suspicious of. There are allegations that something is up with the Bidens in Ukraine. Hunter Biden isn't qualified to make you a sandwich, but got paid tons of money by a Ukrainian energy firm. Is there anybody with half a brain that doesn't think something's going on there? Democrats impeached the president for that. But every single Republican and 2 Democrats voted against. So it wasn't much of a victory. It was more of a partisan thing than anything. The Democrats had the Congress or the House, and that's the way it went. And what if Trump was right to want Hunter investigated? Let's just remind our viewers that Hunter Biden is still under investigation in the United States for his foreign business dealings in places like China and Ukraine. It all smells real funny. It all looks real crooked. Everybody admits that. As far as the impeachment trial goes, the president's defense team sees this very simply. Since the 45th president is no longer president, the clause shall be removed from office on impeachment for ... Basically, they're saying he's no longer the president. It's unconstitutional to try and put him on trial for impeachment when he is now a private citizen. And that's what we're going to talk about now. One man who knows an awful lot about impeachment, member of